Have you ever wondered how a single woman could bend a king to her will, manipulate an entire nation, and strike fear into every citizen, all while plotting in secret? This is the story of Jezebel, a woman whose name would echo through history as a symbol of cunning, power, and rebellion against God. From the very beginning, her life was intertwined with ambition, manipulation, and the dark arts of strategy. Jezebel was born the daughter of Ethbaal, the king of Sidon, a kingdom steeped in worship of Baal and Asherah. From her earliest years, she was immersed in a culture where influence was power and fear was a tool. She watched priests and prophets wield authority, not through righteousness, but through manipulation and intimidation. She saw how her father used alliances, marriage, and subtle threats to control those around him. These lessons formed her mind into one of remarkable cunning and relentless ambition. Even as a young girl, Jezebel was unlike others. She observed closely, learned quickly, and planned carefully. She understood that beauty could open doors, but intelligence and strategy could bend nations. While other children played, she studied politics, human behavior, and the art of persuasion. Every whisper, every glance, every carefully chosen word could be a weapon. She did not simply desire power, she sought absolute control. Her eyes were always set on Israel, a land of fertile fields, rich culture, and a king named Ahab who had recently ascended the throne. Ahab was ambitious yet weak, craving approval and easily swayed. To Jezebel, he was more than a king, he was an instrument through which she could extend her influence. When she arrived in Israel, she did not merely seek a husband, she sought a kingdom. From the very moment she met Ahab, she knew how to captivate him. Her beauty drew him in, but it was her intellect and persuasive power that enslaved his will. She spoke of prosperity, influence, and glory, but under the subtle shadow of Baal worship. Her plan was methodical: introduce Baal quietly at first, then boldly, until the worship of Yahweh was weakened and fear of her power filled the land. Ahab, mesmerized and manipulated, became her willing accomplice in reshaping the kingdom according to her vision. Once settled, Jezebel began exercising her influence over the court and the people. She brought prophets of Baal and Asherah, constructing altars, spreading idolatry, and enticing Israel away from God. Her rule was not just political, it was psychological. Fear became her instrument, anyone who opposed her faced consequences, and stories of her cruelty spread across the nation. Even the bravest men began to tread lightly, knowing the reach of her power. One of her most infamous acts was the plot against Naboth. Naboth, a righteous man, owned a vineyard next to the king's palace. Ahab coveted it, but Naboth refused to sell, claiming it was his ancestral inheritance. Ahab despaired, but Jezebel saw an opportunity to demonstrate both cunning and ruthlessness. She wrote letters in Ahab's name, instructing the city elders to proclaim a fast and seat Naboth in a prominent place. Then, false witnesses accused him of cursing God and the king. Naboth was stoned to death, and Ahab seized the vineyard. Through this act, Jezebel displayed her terrifying power. She could orchestrate murder without touching the victim, bending even the king to serve her plans. But her cruelty extended beyond property disputes. Jezebel became a relentless persecutor of prophets and anyone loyal to God. The land trembled under her influence, as she silenced dissent and bribed officials to obey her will. Her manipulations were calculated, her schemes endless, and her heart hardened against compassion. Then came Elijah, God's prophet, a man unafraid of her power. Elijah warned Ahab and the people of Israel, predicting drought and famine because of their idolatry and rebellion. Jezebel, enraged by his defiance, plotted to kill him. Yet Elijah, guided and protected by God, evaded her traps. The tension between her schemes and God's will escalated, each of her acts of cruelty drawing her closer to divine judgment. Jezebel's arrogance reached its height during the confrontation on Mount Carmel. Elijah challenged the prophets of Baal, calling down fire from heaven to prove the supremacy of God. Jezebel, furious at the humiliation of her prophets, threatened Elijah, vowing revenge. Her anger was fiery, her plots relentless. She believed her cunning and influence could defy the very power of God. But God's plan was unfolding through Jehu, anointed to bring justice to Israel. Jezebel, confident in her schemes, prepared for confrontation one last time. She adorned herself in the finest robes and jewels, attempting to seduce fate itself with beauty and manipulation. Yet Jehu's forces entered Jezreel, and the kingdom she had ruled through fear could not protect her. Soldiers cast her from a window, and her body was trampled, fulfilling God's judgment. Her end was brutal but inevitable, a vivid lesson that no amount of cunning, fear, or manipulation can withstand divine justice. Even in death, Jezebel's story resonates as a warning. Her life illustrates the power of ambition, manipulation, and rebellion against God, but also the consequences of sin, cruelty, and deceit. She orchestrated murder, silenced prophets, manipulated kings, and ruled through fear, yet all her power crumbled because it was built on wickedness. Her name became synonymous with manipulation and evil, a lesson repeated through generations. Her life was a tapestry of intrigue, seduction, manipulation, and terror. Every plot, betrayal, and cruel act contributed to a legacy that warns of ambition unchecked by righteousness. Jezebel shows us that fear and cunning may grant temporary power, but divine justice cannot be avoided. Her story continues to inspire reflection on morality, courage, and the certainty of God's judgment. In the end, Jezebel's life demonstrates the danger of unchecked ambition, the peril of manipulating others toward evil, and the inevitability of divine judgment. She is a cautionary tale of how power obtained through fear may seem unstoppable, yet it is ultimately doomed when it opposes God's will. Her story challenges every generation to choose righteousness over ambition, courage over fear, and faithfulness over manipulation.